The Russian Grand Prix, round 15 of the Formula One 2021 World Championship, and the Pit Group podcast is back doing what it does best. After an almost 2 month hiatus on creating videos, I think our last video was predictions for the British Grand Prix. A lot has happened since then in Formula One. Two crashes between Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, and a lot of drama up and down the field with a lot of driver confirmations. The only seat now left to be filled is Antonio Giovinazzi's second seat at Alfa Romeo. Obviously, Kimi Raikkonen retired. George Russell is going to Mercedes. Alex Albon to Williams. And that's the only seat left. Did I miss any of the big points?
Valtteri Bottas to Alfa.
Yeah, that one. George Russell swapping in for Valtteri Bottas at Mercedes next year, and Bottas will go to Alfa, as Dylan said. So, round 15, Russian Grand Prix. Normally, not the most exciting Grand Prix. Don't know if we're going to get a surprise and have a good one this year. But rain is forecast. If you remember the Belgian Grand Prix, we didn't cover that one, but it was a 4-hour long broadcast of a 2-lap race because it was way too wet to race. And apparently, it's really wet in Sochi. The F2 paddock was flooded earlier in the week, and they've moved an F3 race to today, Friday, as of recording, and from Saturday morning because of heavy rain forecast. So qualifying might actually be delayed to Sunday morning. So it could be another rain-swept weekend. Would you like to see that, Dylan? Do you like this rain unpredictability and disruption?
It'll make it more interesting, especially for Russia, as it's already boring, so at least it'll make it slightly more exciting. It does make the races more interesting, because it means that anyone can win, usually, so we've seen it before in a wet race where it's been a surprise winner, and the professionals, the high-end drivers, usually end up crashing out. So I think it'll be better.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. It would make it more exciting. And already our championship leader with a 5-point lead over Lewis Hamilton is starting from the back of the grid. He got a 3-place grid penalty for his incident with Lewis Hamilton at Turn 1 in Monza last time out 2 weeks ago. Got a 3-place grid penalty for that. And Red Bull have decided that the best course of action is to change his engine as well and get loads of penalties, and Max Verstappen will start up from the back of the grid. So maybe we'll see a fight through the field for possibly a podium and maybe a win. But that brings us on to our predictions. Do we think Max Verstappen will get the win? And what do we think will happen in qualifying? So, in qualifying, I've predicted that Valtteri Bottas, the master of Russia over the current years and topping FP1 and FP2 on Friday, will get pole position. Max Verstappen will get P2, but that will be dropped down to P20 in the final standings. And I think that Lewis Hamilton will get P3. Bottas, as I've said, very strong here, and there is not much between Hamilton and Verstappen in practice and in previous races. They've been so close, so I think it could go either way, but I've called Max Verstappen to come out on top this time. Dylan, what do you think?
I think Valtteri will get pole, as he seems to love the circuit, as he seems to win it pretty much every year since he's been with Mercedes. I think Lewis will be in P2, and if Max hadn't had a penalty at all, I would have put him in P3. But I think Gasly will, as he seems to be very strong. I've seen practice 2 results, so he's been strong there, and also in the previous races he's been very quick, so I think he is capable of getting the first of the second row grid.
I do agree with you there. Pierre Gasly's been putting in some strong performances all year. Unfortunately, both AlphaTauris had issues at Monza last time out of their home race. Gasly won that last year, but sadly it wasn't meant to be this year in Monza. But Gasly has been putting in some incredible performances, especially in qualifying. He's been getting 6th most races compared to Yuki Tsunoda. That's really good. And yeah, in practice today, in second practice, he got P3. So I do think that is possible. Moving on to the race, obviously, as we've said, Max Verstappen starting from the back. I think that Valtteri Bottas is going to convert his pole into a win. He loves this circuit. He says it's easy for him to find a rhythm there. So I think he's going to lead home a Mercedes 1-2. Max Verstappen dropping back will not be able to challenge for the win, in my opinion. But I think with such a fast car under his feet with that Red Bull this year, I think he's going to get that 3rd spot on the podium and take P3. Dylan, what do you think?
I think Valtteri will win, as I've already said, he's very strong around here. I think Lewis will still stay behind Valtteri, unless they decide to do team orders yet again, then he might get the win. Otherwise, I think he'll stay comfortably behind Valtteri, and I think Checo, Sergio Perez will get P3. I think Max will be slightly further behind, as it's not easy to overtake until you get down the main straight. So I think Checo will get P3. Was it fourth or third podium of the season?
Yeah, it'll add to Checo's podium tally. Obviously, he won in Baku back in June. So, yeah, good season for Sergio Perez, and he is staying on at Red Bull for 2022. The first time they've kept their second driver for 2 years for a while. I think the last time they had that happen was...
Seb and Mark,
yeah,
I
was
think.
Sebastian and Daniel Ricciardo. You could call him the second driver in
Oh,
later
yeah.
seasons, although that was a little bit less of team orders than it has been in recent years at Red Bull and in other teams like Mercedes with Valtteri. It's James, which, with the championship being so close, may well happen to Valtteri in this race if he leads and they think it would be better for Lewis to get his championship lead increased with Valtteri at the back, with Max at the back, they might swap them around. Hopefully not. We all want to see racing, but we know Mercedes, we know team orders from any team, so that is very much possible to happen. We hope you have enjoyed the return of the Pit Crew podcast after 2 weeks. We hope you enjoy all the action at the Russian Grand Prix, and we will see you next time. I've been Ed.
And I've been Dylan. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.